we got to stop talking to these men like they're boys.
Right.
Even if he is driving the bus and he don't own it.
I want to start, dear, with something that we share, which is that we are both attorneys by trade. You are a lawyer, you have a legal background. And as women in the law, Iyanla, do you believe that that lens, that legal lens, informs our perspective and the way we show up in the world as women?
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I got out. Yeah, very, very masculine, very intellectual, almost stripped and robbed of humanity. It really shows the dichotomy between the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. And for me, it just didn't feed my soul. And so I had to get out.
I feel that. And I do feel that I might have heard on a date or two, Iyanla, that we are not in a courtroom, Eboni. You can put the gavel down. And I do feel it can spill over into the way I show up in my womanhood, which is...
Yeah, you ever been on that date with that lawyer? And don't get in an argument with him either. A playful banter argument, oh, they will pin you down. Ladies, that's not the way to get a man. Trust and believe. Leave your gavel at home.
Really the center of this conversation today, Iyanla, we want to discuss masculine energy, feminine energy. What do you think happens for Black women when this type of siege is at play and we don't feel we have anyone to protect?
Wait a minute. Sounds like she's been listening to the internet's talking points. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. She sounds a lot like she's been listening to. But yeah, Ebony's been indoctrinated, y'all. Seems like it. Seems like it. Just based on some buzzwords I'm hearing.
Well, the first thing I think we do is we go into anger. We go into anger without a clear ask. It doesn't make sense to be angry unless you've got to ask. What is it that you're asking for? People can say anything in the world, but that doesn't mean that they get a right to do it. It doesn't mean that they get a right to affect you. But because so many of us are programmed and conditioned and educated to think like men, we respond like men. And when I mean men, I don't mean...
Give it up for that. There's a lot of that going on. A lot of women responding like men. And I'm just saying, like, it doesn't gel. It won't coalesce. So men aren't going to respond kindly to women demanding things of them as would a man.
Two-legged beast. I mean in the masculine energy, and it becomes competitive, it becomes aggressive, it becomes againstness. And that's not who we are as women. It just isn't. And I think for Black women, particularly for us, the way that we've been programmed and conditioned and educated in the society to expect less, to accept less, to be angry and to complain, but to not really step into our authentic self, our authentic power as women, and create what we want, even if that's create the demand. Oh no, not here, not today.
Okay, I hear you articulating, Iyanla, this masculine energy traits, the competitiveness, the assertiveness. Tell me how you would frame feminine traits. Aggressive.
Grace.
Aggressive.
Yeah, aggressive, not assertive. It's okay for a woman to be assertive. Grace, first of all.
You see Ebony's face? Ebony is trying to hold it in right now. She's trying to hold it in. These are all the things she's been called out on for most likely before. Most likely, And, they're tropes that have been repeated before and before. But, the thing about Iyanla Vanzant, like a couple years ago, she gave up her show because she was like, I got to enjoy my life. I'm getting so much resistance for trying to help. And, it's kind of interesting, these two people colliding right here, because this is exactly who she was speaking to in a strange way.
I think we've lost our grace. We move in such a harsh and hard way. Grace, compassion, nurturing, nourishing, elegance. How about majesty? How about divinity? How about holiness? This is not a language you hear coming out of most women's mouths, but they'll talk about being a boss, being a diva, being, in charge. And many of us are either not seated in our throne as queens, or we're in the throne and the crown is crooked, meaning we're in the throne and we don't really know how to hold that place without the masculine aggressiveness and demanding and attachment. And it's
She's slow. She's taking it in slow. Well, you see that mouth? That mouth is telling everything she's feeling on the inside. those lips, the stress there, you know what I'm saying? She don't want to hear it. She's trying to hear it.
It's killing us. It really is.
So in a recent interview
Deep breath.
with our dear friends over at the Breakfast Club that went very viral for very good reason, you said that women are being trained to be men in skirts. I will acknowledge, I will say I was triggered. I was a hit dog, and I hollered to the entire production team to get you here today, because I actually think you're right. I think you're right, Iyanla. I do think that I'll just speak for myself vulnerably. When I think of a masculine posture and what I would expect a man to do in my life, two things come top of mind, and they are provide and they are protect.
That's it. Where have you heard that before? On YouTube, on the internet. Ebony's out here listening to y'all, and it's sunk in. And I'm telling you, it's the wrong direction. It's not the direction she needs to go in. Trust and believe. These women are probably in worse situations than you are. It's not the direction you want to go in. That provide and protect line has been a refrain for the past few years. And it's based in faulty logic. It's based in an old-fashioned system that doesn't necessarily suit the station of most women right now. Most women are in a position where they feel they are the dominant participant in their relationships. But yet and still they want to be protected and provided for, and they won't accept anything less than that. And we're going to get to that.
And when my lived experience, and I think I'm still relatively young, I guess, but I'm 40 in September. So
40 years old.
I've had some relationships. And I've yet to find a man who has shown, I mean, this includes even my father, who was absent. That's
an important fact to also note, that the fact that her father was not in her life, she wouldn't recognize that strength and that leadership, that male leadership, as easily as someone who did have a relationship with their father. This is no judgment on her. You just got to be honest about that fact in particular.
And I've yet to find a man who has shown, I mean, this includes even my father, who was absent. I've yet to have a male energy that provided or protected me consistently ever. So I think that I have taken on the reins to protect and provide for myself, because what I'm not going to do, Iyanla, is be without. Baby.
Be without.
Oh, baby.
So
baby.
Be without protection, and be without the necessities of life.
Okay.
But I say
it could be looked at as a survival mechanism, or it could be that you are not willing to partner with the men that you have interacted with. That is another problem entirely.
That with an invitation, Iyanla, check me. Show me the error of my ways.
Check her. Check her. She's asking to be checked.
Oh, I might be missing it, because I might be.
So she needs to be checked.
Okay. I too am an alpha woman, so I understand what that means. And I tell people all the time, I was a horrible mother. I was a great father.
Come on, Iyanla.
I was a horrible mother because I'd never been mothered. So I didn't know how to affirm, how to nurture, how to nourish, how to guide, and nobody's helping me, and I gotta do this, and you gotta do it this way. Then that's what the children are gonna get. If she's angry because she's alone, if she's desperate if she's not conscious, if she's not careful. I mean, when I look at the damage that I did to my children, not being clear about who I am as a feminine expression of the chief architect and creator of the universe, when I understand that I didn't know that and how to tap into that, and the damage I did to my children, who I love with all my heart. As soon as I discovered how off I was, I confessed it to them and asked them to watch me as I rebuilt who I was. And I'm still very alpha, but I'm in my throne and my crown is straight.
Okay. I'm looking forward to straightening my crown, Dr. Iyanla. Let me ask you this. Let's get to the logistics, though. Let's get to the logistics. We know that Black women are earning college degrees faster than anybody else. Many of us are doing like we're doing, Iyanla. We're getting those terminal degrees, those JDs, MD, PhDs. We also are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, along with Latina women in America. Pew Research said that women are now out-earning men.
Yes.
That one needs to be fact-checked. I'm just going to say that one needs to be fact-checked. I don't believe that is the case, that women are now out-earning men. A lot of times, she was on a roll there. And she was right about, the education, university enrollment rates and But that one in particular, I don't believe women are out earning men. Not yet.
22 of the largest cities in America, including where I live, New York, D.C., L.A., you name it. When we talk, and I know that you've said that you cannot teach a man or tell a man how to be a man, so I will not ask you to indict men in this question. But I do want you to speak, Iyanla, to how women need to, position ourselves so that we can be in our divinity, so we can have our crowns right, how we can create and not build, when some of us, quite frankly, feel that the men that are available to us, and I'm talking about across the color spectrum, across the age spectrum, trust me, I've done them all, they are not positioned to protect nor provide because of some of the statistics we just talked about. They're not earning the incomes. They're not having the resources. And
You're not looking in the right places. Let's just say that.
some of them are not even showing up in the leadership.
Would you date a bus driver?
Good question.
Would you date
If
a
he
bus
owns
driver?
the bus, if he owns
No.
it, if he owns the bus,
See, that's a
Iyanla.
problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day.
Right.
I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus driver. But we think that it's another human being's responsibility to give us what we need instead of us building together. I could build with a bus driver. I'd have my little stash over on the side in my prenup, but I could build with a bus driver.
Look at her. She's not even, Ebony is not even letting that sink in. Not letting it sink in. She wants the bus driver to own the bus that he drives, an owner operator. Does she know how rare that is? This is she's described him as a good, hardworking brother. What is wrong with him? He might hit every other requirement you have, but the fact that he doesn't make more money than you is somehow disqualifying him. And that is the $1 million question. What makes you think you're overqualified for a bus driver? Huh? Ebony, we're talking to you. These high standards have rendered women into a place of indecisiveness. They've allowed good brothers to walk away from them. They've allowed good brothers to go outside the country and find a suitable mate. They've turned their nose up at brothers that in times past, in generations past, would have been the love of their life. And we got to come to terms with that. We cannot do a full analysis of what is going on in the community if we don't address that point in particular. What makes you think you're better than these brothers that are out here? Your counterpart is not somebody you should turn your nose up. I'm just going to say.
So I think some of the criteria that we look for in the reality of today
Still turning their face
keeps
up.
us unhappy, keeps us angry, keeps us imbalanced. And then when the men show up, we want to beat them up because they're not living up to our standards and criteria. And,
She's laughing about that.
It's not working,
Okay.
beloved.
Beat
It's
people
just
up.
not working. So it's not that it's bad or wrong. It's obsolete. It's obsolete. We have to come up with a new way of being. I don't believe in carrying a man. A man has to do.
That's right.
My son got his first job when he was 9.
This is right. You know, I heard somebody else making excuses for Ebony's stance on this. Her biggest excuse was that she dated men from jail, that she dated men. That isn't necessarily the man you should want to be the head of your family. There's nothing wrong with those brothers in a lot of cases. Some of them made bad decisions and ended up in a predicament. But the fact that that is the top of mind for who you should deal with outside of this top tier man, you're skipping over 80% of men when you do that, ladies. 80%. And you wonder why some men out here are mad. They feel neglected for not living up to an unreasonable standard. My point is this conversation right here. This conversation right here needs to happen more often. Besides Iyanla, very few older women are willing to have this conversation with younger women. There's been a dereliction of duty from the previous generation. You know, it might have something to do with, previous generations being called the me generation, selfishness. I got mine, you got yours to get. They've been set up. These women have been set up and sold a bill of goods. But really what it is the older women are afraid of these younger women who are coming to them with this in need. It's so glaring when you see how she responds to this information. He needs to own the bus. But then the other side of it, and the people that I assume Eboni is getting her information from, want to blame all the ills of the world on a small group of men that they've selected. They want to blame all the ills of the world on men. And that's just it's not realistic. It's not factual. And in fact, it's a slap in the face.
One thing before you leave us, I have to ask one thing about dating. The reality is there are more men right now, Iyanla, on dating apps and seeking partnership than there even are women, contrary to popular belief. And a lot of men say that they're struggling, probably because of what you named earlier, probably because the expectations of many of the women are out of sync with what society is offering at this point in time, blah, 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 blah. How do women adjust our energy so that we are more successful when it comes to dating? If we're looking to date.
Do we
Good
just
question.
want to date, or do we want to be partner? That's one thing.
Even better question.
If you have in your consciousness you want to date, you can date forever because you're going to find something wrong with everybody. But if you want to be partnering, my question is, what is your vision? What is it that you see for yourself, within yourself, about being in partnership? And are you willing to be in partnership as a woman, or do you want to be a dude having a relationship with a man? And when I say a dude, I mean how you manage yourself, how you talk to men. We got to stop talking to these men like they're boys.
Right.
Even if he is driving the bus and he don't own it, or picking up trash. That doesn't give us a right to use this divine instrument called a throat and a voice to demean somebody. But you know what? If we demean each other, we're going to demean our men. And we have to remember, and our mouths are out of order. I'm sorry, with each other, but definitely with men.
What do you think about that? Give it up for Iyanla Vanzant. Yes. You know, and this is the thing, it's foreign for younger women to hear this from older women. And they act like they're being attacked in some cases because there is criticism. Unfortunately, we've lost the art of taking a note, taking criticism, and not taking it personal. When the few women like Iyanla try to give guidance, they want to attack Iyanla. They want to attack the messenger, as opposed to ingesting the message, chewing the meat, and spitting out the bones. So yeah, ladies, if you recognize yourself in this video, she's talking about you. She's talking about you. And it's time to make some changes. Anyway, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. This is Faucette Media.